Konnichiwa, good evening everyone, and welcome to Japan, or more specifically to Suzuka. We're here tonight for round number 17 of Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F3 League. My name is Julio Massa, and I will bring you the commentary this evening from this absolutely stunning track. Obviously, we are at Suzuka, as I've said earlier, the only figure of 8 track in Formula 1 calendar, and we are only 5 races. We only have 5 races to go in this season. Only 5 rounds are left, and the championship fight is entering its final stage. It's easy to say that Kamil Koman is in the lead, but currently he only has a 6-point lead over the second driver, in the name of Bolash Kevin, but crucially, Bolash Kevin, of course, has decided to pull out from the league with 5 rounds to go. He says he wants to be back next season, but this season is over for him. This means that obviously Kamil Koman has a bigger advantage over the second driver, who now becomes... now Andinator becomes the second driver in the driver standings. Driving for Williams, he is 20 points, of course, behind Kamil Koman after 16 races. Third place right now belongs to his teammate, True6, who is further 15 points behind Andinator. And the current top 5, or maybe even top 4, because we can count out Bolash Kevin, is rounded by Vaza, the Polish Mercedes driver who won last time out in Sochi in December. He is further 6 points behind, of course, True6, and full 42 behind Kamil Koman. I will remind you the driver standings later on during the formation lap, but right now, this is what we've got. Of course, I forgot to set the tires and the everything else, but I think right now we're good to go. It's worth noting that we don't have Vaza Shotis, so 2 Polish drivers have decided to skip this race in Japan. We only have Kamil Koman, who is fighting for the championship there. And of course, the third driver who has decided to pull out today is Hooper. There was a chance we might be missing. I'm trying to remember. There was a chance we might be missing Richie B from Toro Rosso, but it looks like he is here. He has set a time, so that's of course very good from him. 13 and a half minutes to go in this qualifying session. 6 drivers have set a competitive lap time. Maybe not competitive, because Season has not really set a competitive lap time. But yeah, now 6 drivers have set it. And this should be Andinator in P1, 2 tenths ahead of True6, and third place belongs to Iceman. Iceman had a quite nice race in Russia, if I remember. Richie B right now in 4th, Nutzer in P5, Bika in P6, and we have Season in P7, although I think he is trying to improve on his lap. I hope he is, at least. Yeah, and JSR has retired from the session already. I don't know what happened there. And we have 3 drivers without times. That's AOR Grzesiu, who had a rough time this season, to say the least. He has missed quite a few races. Last time we've seen him was in Italy, I think. I can confirm that in a minute, although I can't because I don't see him in the standings, which is quite funny if you ask me. Yeah, I can't find him in the standings right now, but I think the last time he was either in Monza or in of course in Singapore. Jezza, he is starting his first time lap, and Camille Common, well, he is some way off the start-finish line. He went through the Degner culvert, Degner 2, into the hairpin right now. Obviously, I forgot to mention that we have 5.8 kilometers of the track and 18 corners, 10 to the right, 8 to the left. Only one DRS zone though. The only DRS zone in this track is on the start-finish straight. So it's quite tricky to overtake in this circuit, but don't forget that the section where Season is right now is leading to the 130R and to the chicane. You can try to make a move there, although it's quite risky. But you can try. You can try to do something more spectacular if you want. Camille Common has started his lap, and Jezza has retired. In terms of tires, it's quite an easy one because we have the hardest possible tires brought by Pirelli to this track. So C1, C2 and C3 compounds are here in Suzuka, and I think we expect only a one-stopper, so there is not too much room to try something different, but you can try an alternative strategy. You can try to start on the mediums and finish on the softs. Of course you can, but is it really worth it? I'm not sure. Coming back to the time, of course, set by Andinator, 1 minute 27.6, I think we will see some improvements. We're looking at Camille Common, who is probably the guy who is most likely to improve, but he runs horribly wide in the second part of the spoon curve. We only have Richie B on time lap as well. He's going through the S's. Very tricky S's into the Dunlop corner. Very tricky corner in dry, let alone in the wet, of course. And now into Degner curves. I think he may have cut, but now goes really wide in Degner 2. But he seems to still be going into the hairpin. Iceman has started his lap, and Camille Common has aborted his second lap. So looks like Camille Common has a rough time being the championship leader. He's still, just to remind you, he has 6 points lead over Polish Kevin, who has decided to pull out of the league, and he has a 20 points lead over this man, who currently sits in pole position over Andinator. He's still very much with us, and he tries to take away this championship from Camille Common. Remember that Camille Common had quite a big streak of wins from Spa to Monza, from Spa through Monza to Singapore. So he had 3 wins in a row, but he was only 5th in Russia after a scrappy race. Let's come back to see who is closest, and we see that Bicker has retired from the session. He has crashed out, coming out of Degner 2. Let's see who is closer to finishing this lap. I think it's Andinator. Yeah, it is, and he's going through the chicane. Let's see if he can improve. 0.2 of improvement in second sector. What will be his final time? 1 minute 27.2, improves by 0.4 of a second. Iceman has decided to abort his lap, and let's see what Crucix does. He still has to go through the chicane. And let's see what will be his final time. Of course, the acceleration here is very, very tricky out of this final chicane. Crucix does improve goes into P2, 3/10, exactly 3/10 behind his teammate Cisen. He has started his lap, and Nutzer as well. We see that Grzesiu will try to qualify on mediums, so there is one driver who is going to try the reverse strategy, but let's come back to Cisen. He's going through Degna 2 right now. We see that there is at least one guy who is cheering on Jezza. Of course, Jezza has crashed out of this qualifying session, but, you know, crashing out of a qualifying session when there are only 11 drivers, it isn't too bad. You will have a free choice of tires, I think, unless Kamil Komoń does something really bad and does it at any time. Then Jezza, well, he will still have a free tire choice because he hasn't set a lap time. Let's come back to Cisen. We are hanging on with him, going through 130R into the chicane, and let's see what will be his final time. Going through the final corner, a little bit of twitch, going through the crest, and the time, 1:27.834, improvement of around half a second. He goes into P3. We can see that we have two teams in front, really, because Williams is ahead of Alfa Romeo, but can Ferrari break that trend? Nuts goes into P4. Yes, he breaks that trend, but only just 5,500 thousandths really of a second ahead of Iceman. We have a yellow flag in sector 3. What's going on there? Grzesiu has a border lap, maybe, I don't know. Kamil Komoń starts another lap time. Not lap time, he starts another lap. We'll see if he sets any lap time, that's what should I say. I hope that you're seeing everything as well as I am, because I'm not going to lie, it's my first AOR stream, so there might be some teething issues, but I hope it's okay to watch, and I hope to get better next week, because it looks like I'll be alone next week as well. We will be in Mexico, and looks like at least next week I'm going to be alone. Maybe for Austin race I will be joined by someone, but I'm not sure, so we'll see how it goes. Looks like Grzesiu is the one who is the closest to the finish line, but I'm going to check. Richie B going through Spoon, and Iceman has started his lap, so yeah. So Grzesiu is the one who is the closest to finishing his lap time, but I see that he's not using ERS, and he has quite an odd crash going into the pit lane. So he aborts the lap, doesn't set a lap time, and Kamil Komoń into P2, 7 thousandths of a second behind Andunator. That shows how good Kamil Komoń is. He had two scrappy attempts on setting a lap time, but when the time comes, when he has to put together a lap, he does it really, really well. Only 7 thousandths behind Andunator. That does well for him. Of course, he is the championship leader. He wants to take that championship. Who wouldn't want? And has a very good shot at it. Can Iceman improve? Looks like he can't, because he was like a second of his pace, although maybe the live timing was lying to me. No, it wasn't, because Iceman comes into the pit lane, and we only have Kamil Komoń on the track, but he of course is on a slow down lap, and we have two Williams drivers trying to go to the pit lane or set a lap. No, they are coming into the pit lane as well, so we will have quite a quiet track in just a few seconds, and we will be waiting for the final laps, for the final attempts from the drivers. And let's see how they go. We will have a clean track, a quiet track, not clean. Well, it would be clean as well, but it's more like quiet right now. So Kamil Komoń goes into the pit lane, and they are setting the cars up again, and they will try to start the final laps. Looks like Cisen has left the pit lane right now. Yes, he has. The fourth currently 4th driver in the qualifying session. I think I've also seen Iceman going out of the pit lane. Can I confirm? Yes, I can confirm. And we have a 3rd driver. That should be Grzesiu in P10. Sorry for that little mistake. Yes, that's Grzesiu, who has also come out on soft tires now, so he isn't trying to do maybe some sort of a different strategy. He tries to set as good of lap time as he can. Where are the Williams drivers? They are leaving the pit lane as well. There is Crew 6. There is Andinator. Where is Kamil Komoy? Looks like he is here as well. Okay, so everyone is trying to leave the pit lane. Season will be the first one to start the final qualifying lap, followed by Iceman, followed by Grzesiu, followed by, I think, Crew 6. It will be followed by Kamil Komoy and Andinator. And they will be ahead of, and Nutternus will be ahead of both of them. And we will have Richie B, who is the final driver, who will be the final driver to finish his lap time. So here we go with Seasend, his final flying lap. And let's see what will be his time through those S's. They are tricky, especially the entrance to them. There's only one line there. And now going downhill, before going again uphill through the Dunlop corner. A little bit of camber, you can make a big mistake there and crash the car into Degner. That one doesn't cut the first part of the corner. Degner 2, nice and clean. And now going uphill to the hairpin through the King of 10. Like he is, yeah, he is really doing well. Of course, exit is very, very crucial. We have a yellow flag. What happened there? I'm not going to see. I think we only have drivers who are slowing down to make some space. Now into Spoon goes Season. A little bit of sideways action through the Spoon curve, but looks like he is doing all right. Uphill now. Over the track we will go, and what will be his time? 1/10 down. He only has 130R and the chicane ahead of him. And how can he do it to improve at least, or maybe improve his position as well? Trying to take a nice sweeping line. Season doesn't improve. He stays in P4. So where is Iceman? Going through 130R. He has improved by 0.3 of a second. Going into the chicane right now. And exiting it as well. What will be his time right now? 1 minute 28, 0:33. So that's behind Season. Who is next? I think it will be Grzesiu, but I have to confirm. Yeah, it will be Grzesiu. He's going through 130R, but he has aborted his lap as well. He has, that was the reason why we've had a yellow flag in Sector 1. So Grzesiu will start from B10. Where is the next car? That will be Crew 6. And what will be the time set by the Williams driver? 1:27, 2:35, 2:34 even, 14 thousandths of a second behind Andinator. There comes Nutzt, but he doesn't improve. He is only 6th. Kamil Komoy goes into P1, and I missed that. 1 minute 26.953, and Andinator improves, but only by 1/10 of a second. He is 2/10 of a second behind Kamil Komoy. Kamil Komoy takes pole here. He is better than 2 Williams drivers, than both of them, and then both Alfa Romeo drivers. What a lap from Kamil Komoy, and we haven't seen anything from that because I forgot to show him. Great action by me, of course. No, joking aside, it happens. Hopefully I won't make the same mistake again. So here we have Kamil Komoy in pole position. Pole on pole. Very funny. 0.2 of a second ahead of Andinator, who is only just ahead of Crew 6. 4th place belongs to Seasent. 0.8 down on Kamil Komoy. Iceman, 1 second down on the Polish driver. P6 for Nutzt, 1.5 seconds down. P7 for Richie B, and P8 for Bika, who has retired from the session earlier. JSR, Grzesiu, and Jeza didn't set any lap time, so we'll probably see some different strategies from them. But of course, we'll have to wait to see if my predictions are correct. So now, a short time before they set up their cars, before they are ready to go for this 27 lap race. 27 laps of this track. That means 156 kilometers of racing. Almost 157 because it's 156 kilometers and 789 meters. And this is a great time to remind you the championship standings. Kamil Komon has 104 points. He is 6 points ahead of Kevin Bolash, but as a short reminder, he has pulled out of this league. P3 belongs to Andinator. He is 20 points behind Kamil. P4 belongs to Crucix, and he's 35 points behind Kamil. That's 69 points for Crucix. P5 belongs to Vaza, the winner from Sochi, but he is not here today. He has 62 points. He is 42 points behind Kamil Komon. We don't have Ripson today. He is in P6. We don't have Schultes as well. He is in P7, but he, as I said, he is not with us today. We have a slight lag as they are coming through turn 1 onto the formation lap. I'm trying to see who else is here. Richie B in P8, 62 behind Kamil Komon with 42. 9th place belongs to JSR, who has 39 points and is 65 points behind Kamil Komon. And 10th place belongs to Cisen, who has to confirm 35 points. He is 69 points behind Kamil Komon. I'm not going to remind you the constructor standings because they are the results are carried over the full season, because we've had a reset of the points in the driver standings but not in the constructor standings. So that is Racing Point in the lead, but they are not here today. And Williams is in P2 with Mercedes in P3 and Red Bull in P4. That's all I'm going to remind you today, and we are ready to go racing. Kamil Komon in pole position. Alongside him, we will have Andinator. P3 belongs to Crucix, and he will have Seasoned alongside. P5 for Iceman, he will have Nutzer alongside in P6. Richie B and Bika, that will be the 4th row of the grid. JSR and Grzesiu will form the 10th row, the 5th row, of course, not 10th row. And Jeza will form a half of row number 6. He starts from P11. Grzesiu and Jeza have opted to start on mediums. Only 11 drivers, 27 laps of intense racing. Kamil Komon win his 4th race out of 5 last races. Stay tuned with us. Had to take a sip of water because we have the most intense part of the race ahead of us. The drivers have formed. All 11 drivers have formed on the grid. And we are almost ready to go in Suzuka. We are waiting for the lights. There they are. 5 lights. No, still. There are 5 lights now. And away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix. A bad start by of course, that's Iceman, who has fallen down to P8. Looks like Kamil Komon is leading, but Crucix is ahead of Andinator. We don't see any crashes, any drama, but it's Richie B going wide in turn 2. But no drivers have spun right now. Looks like Kamil Komon is comfortably in the lead. Yes, he is. Crucix in P2, Andinator 3rd. And we have a yellow flag, and looks like that's Grzesiu, and JSR is out of the session. So JSR has crashed into the barriers in the S's. Grzesiu looks like he only spun, but his front wing is okay. Seems to be okay at least. Looks like Crucix is also okay. And Andinator is okay as well. So we've already lost JSR from this race. But looks like everyone is doing okay, at least with the parts of front wing, apart from JSR, who is lacking a wheel at least. But that's tough luck. I don't know what happened. There may be a contact, maybe a mistake on his own, because remember, there are cold tires. the medium tire runners also did a quite slow formation lap, so the tires, those soft tires could have got colder and could have caught out JSR on this first lap. Of course, Kamil Koman in the lead, 4 tenths ahead of Krusix, another 4 tenths ahead of Andinator. Looks like we will have a train fighting for at least P1, maybe even for podium. Seasand in P4, but Bika has gone from P8 into P5. Nutzernut stays in P6. Richie B in P7. Iceman, a slow starter. He had a really bad start, but he is in P8. Jeza in P9, and Grzesiu 6 seconds behind Jeza already. He doesn't have pace here, does he? He is in P10 though, so he will have at least a point from this race. A little bit of sideways action from Kamil Koman going through Degner 1, but nothing too major. Looks like Krusix is closing on him, but Andinator is even closer to Krusix than Krusix is to Kamil Koman. Remember, no DRS just yet. Going through 200R. This is a corner, of course, corner number 12 in this circuit, leading into the spoon curve, but of course still nothing major happening. Let's hope that I will at least show you major happenings, and we see that Nutzernutz has spun round. Yeah, he has spun round, of course, coming out of the spoon corner, and he has lost big chunk of his front wing. He will have to pit and replace it, and he has lost a lot of time, obviously. And what are the times? Looks like Seasand has set the fastest lap of the race right now. Krusix and Andinator very close behind Kamil Koman, but they don't have DRS just yet. They will have it next time round when they come there. And looks like Andinator is really close behind Krusix right now, but now going through the SS. You can't really overtake here. It's pretty much single file here, but looks like Andinator is taking different lines to Krusix. I think they are more tighter than his German teammate. Of course, they are both Germans, but it looks like Krusix has opted to take a little bit more wide, a little bit more sweeping lines, and Iceman gets the first 3-second time penalty of the race. I'm sorry, I've made a mistake, of course, on the keys on my game. I'm sorry for that, but we are back with the action. It looks like nothing is going on right now. Looks like Grzesiu, though, has caught up to Jeza. What happened to him? I think he had to avoid spinning Nutzernutz, because just one lap ago, Grzesiu was 6 seconds behind Jeza, and now Jeza is 7 seconds behind Iceman. So I think that's what happened there. And now Krusix really close behind Kamil Koman. Of course, he will not try to overtake him into the chicane. He will now have the DRS from the Red Bull driver, and looks like Grzesiu has overtaken Jeza. Yes, he has, going into the 130R, and Jeza gets a penalty. But now Kamil Koman goes defensive. Can Krusix do and overtake Kamil Koman around the outside? They touch, and Kamil Koman goes round. Does he save it? Yes, he saves it. He doesn't go into the wall, but he loses 4-5 places even. And Krusix, well, what happened there, Krusix? Because I don't know. They've touched. They've definitely touched. But what happened there? Kamil Koman down into P5. Doesn't have any damage to his front wing, thankfully for him. But that's a good news for Krusix's teammate, because Andinator now in P2 is 3 places ahead of Kamil Koman. Yellow flag in Sector 1. What happened there? And that's Jeza round in turn 7, I think. That's Dunlop corner. Yes, he is around in Dunlop corner. And he has only lost time, thankfully for him. Just like Kamil Koman, he only went round, but thankfully he managed to not to go into the wall, and he's already just behind Bika in P4. Season just behind Andinator. But Andinator is crucially 1.5 seconds behind Krusix. He essentially is a wingman to his teammate, but it'll be weird to have the better driver in the team, or higher classified driver in the team as the wingman, of course. Now, Onto the start-finish straight we go. Can Kamil Komon try to overtake Bika around the outside into the first corner? They've touched, they've definitely banged wheels, but Kamil Komon had a great speed thanks to the DRS system, and he comes into P4. Bika down into P5. Let's see, Season 6/10 behind Andinator. He was once close behind him, but looks like he couldn't overtake the Williams driver and had to slow down. Of course, you can't be too close to the following car because you will lose at least a little bit of downforce, and Andinator goes... What happened there? Because... Okay, looks like... And Andinator has left the session. Okay, so that's what happened there. And just like that, we lose Andinator from this race. Will he rejoin us? That's the big question here. If he rejoins this race, of course, he will take the points. But if he doesn't, he will be another driver without points today. And that will be big for the driver standings. Of course, still a long way to go. Only lap number 5 out of 27. There's still 23 even laps to go. Well, we will have 22 laps to go soon. But, yeah, when Crew 6 goes through the finish line, we will have 22 laps to go. So that's a long way to go, especially here, especially around this tricky track in Japan, especially around Suzuka. Bika just 9/10 behind Kamil Komon. He only just has a DRS from the Polish Red Bull driver, and look at the gaps between the drivers already. We've had a beautiful train going through P1 all the way down to, I don't know, P6 at least, and now Crew 6 is 3 seconds ahead of Seasand. Kamil Komon 1.7 seconds behind the Alfa Romeo in second place. Bika is 8/10 behind Kamil Komon. They have similar pace, and they are trying to catch Season in P2. Richie B, very quietly now, but he is up into P5. And Iceman in P6 right now as well. And Andinator, well, he is out of this race right now, isn't he? Yes, he is out of this race. Hopefully he will come back, but it doesn't look good for him. Grzesiu, he had a lot of problems on the start, but looks like he has come back to it. He looks like to be at least in good points. Jezza in P9, he already had spun his car. And Nutternus was the only driver to be in the pit lane in this race. But coming back to the leading drivers, let's call it like that, and we have a yellow flag sector 1, and that's Nutternus going round again and losing another chunk of his front wing. That's turn 7 again, ladies and gentlemen. So Nutternus has lost again time and crucial parts of his car, so looks like he will have to fight for that P10. I mean, he will be there, but he wants to finish this race, of course. So, lap number 7. Kamil Komon is closing on Season, which is a good news for him, but he isn't closing on Crew 6. But he doesn't really have to worry about the Williams driver right now. That will be his worry later on, maybe. Maybe later on in the season, when Crew 6 takes away some points from the pole and Andinator doesn't do that. They may still fight for the championship as well, but right now Crew 6 is that second driver in the field who is the closest to Kamil Komon. The closest driver to Kamil Komon is now out of the race, and it looks like he won't return to us. No, he won't. So, Kamil Komon right now, I don't want to do any maths because it's too early, but looks like Kamil Komon will make up at least 9 points over Andinator. That will mean there will be 29 points difference between them, but he will lose 10 points to Crew 6, which will mean that there is only, let me check if I'm right, but that would mean they are 25 points. There is 25 points between them, and Kamil Komon is 25 points ahead of Crew 6. Let's stay with Kamil Komon because this is our only chance for a fight in this race. He is half a second behind Seasoned going through the S's. Looks like he has great pace in this race. Still, even though he had a half spin going through turn 2, he saved it though. He didn't hit the wall, so the car is doing A-okay really right now. Yes, it is. So Kamil Koman just behind Season. Of course, he will not try to overtake the Alfa Romeo as soon as possible. I think he will wait until he gets DRS in the start-finish straight. DRS is very powerful on this track. On this game, really, it is very powerful, and looks like he is going in ERS mode 0. So that means he is trying to recharge the battery to gather to harvest as many energy as he can, to then deploy it on that start-finish straight and overtake Season with ease. Can he do it? Going through 130R, of course he can't. He shows himself in the mirrors of Season, but nothing really is done right now by the pole. But now, onto the start-finish straight. Kamil Koman will have the DRS. Can Season defend himself successfully from the pole or not yet? He's closing, he's closing, he's closing. He will have the inside in turn 1, and it's job done for Kamil Koman. Yes, it is. Kamil Koman into P2 and is 4.5 seconds behind Crew 6. Let's watch out for the pit stops though, because they are coming. And I think they are coming really shortly. Let's see what will be the pace set by Kamil Koman after overtaking Season, because I'm very curious about it. About it. How quickly will Kamil Koman gain time on Crew 6, or will he gain time on Crew 6? That's more important question right now. Looks like Richie B is closer to Bika than he was before. 9 tenths between them now, 7 tenths, so they are getting closer. We might get a fight for P4 right now, and Season doesn't really want to let Kamil Koman go, so we will see a counter-attack by the Alfa Romeo. Jezza gets another time penalty in this race. I think it's his second, and it's quite tough to get time penalties here, because you can't really count the track. You can only extend the track in turn 1, in turn, then maybe, I don't know, in turn 8, in turn 13 to 14, and maybe in 130R. You can, of course, cut the chicane, but now Kamil Koman and Season come into the pit lane. Also, the same is done by Richie B. The undercut will be very powerful here, looks like that, and Kamil Koman already coming out of the pit lane on the mediums. Will he be ahead of Season? No, he won't be, and Season is of course stopped a little bit by Richie B, held by Richie B, that was the word I was looking for, and Richie B has held Season just a bit in this pit lane, but it was enough for him to lose a place, well, to lose 2.5 seconds to Kamil Koman. Funnily enough, Kamil Koman is 3 tenths behind Grzesiu, so it wasn't the best pit stop for him either, because he now has to overtake the, well, another pole in this field, really. Will he try to do it in turn 7? He has a great advantage of tires, but it looks like Grzesiu is a sort of mobile chicane for the Red Bull driver. Will he let him go, or will Kamil Koman have to earn his way through? Let's see, going into the hairpin right now. And will he try to send it down the inside? No, he has to try to do it around the outside. He will have a better exit than Grzesiu. And he will have the inside going through 200. Nah, Nuts gets a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but let's come back to what's going on there. Can Grzesiu retake the position into Spoon? No, he can't, and we have a yellow flag in Sector 2. I will see what happened in a minute, but we have Crew 6 in the pit lane, and was there any problem? I don't know. But looks like Grzesiu, of course, overtaken by Kamil Koman. Season gets a penalty. No, that was Bika, of course. Crew 6 now with the medium tires. And where is Kamil Koman? He is only exiting the start-finish straight. So Crew 6 will have a big lead. That will be around 4, maybe even 5, maybe even 6 seconds. Undinator in P2. But Undinator didn't pit yet. I think he didn't. Oh, yeah, because there is, of course, his AR car driving around in circles. And Kamil Koman looks like he is 5.5 seconds behind. I can't change the interval. Yes, 5.4 seconds behind the leader. And we are waiting for Grzesiu and Jezza to make their pit stops. Who has the fastest lap right now? It is Crucix, interestingly. 1 minute 31.267. And what is the pace set by Kamil Komoń? I am really curious about it. Well, let's wait and see what will Season do with Grzesiu ahead of him. Will Grzesiu be a sort of mobile chicane for Season as well, or will he let the Alfa Romeo go? Looks like Kamil Komoń is ahead of Undinator. Of course he is, because as a reminder, Undinator is an AI car. And Season closing on Grzesiu, but he won't have the DRS. Will he try to overtake the Toro Rosso going into 130R? They will go side by side on this straight, and he will try to overtake him down the inside 130R. Will he try to go through? Yes, he does. And I think Grzesiu had to let Season go. He was on the outside. He didn't want to crash, of course. Grzesiu gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting the corners, but Season is through. And Kamil Komoń 5.3 seconds behind Crucix. He sets the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 31.1. Undinator's AI car has come into the pit lane. That's not surprising. And what will be the pace of Kamil Komoń compared to Crucix? That's the big question. Just to see how good was the lap time set by Kamil Komoń. Not too good, 1 minute 31.1. But now they are really trying to make sure these tires will make it to the end. Bika and Richie B, this is a fight for P5, and they were fighting for P5, but it looks like Richie B had a better outlap than Bika. He had an undercut, of course, and he went up into P5 thanks to it. But now Bika will try to retake this position. We also have Grzesiu there, so we will have a bit of a fight, which is great in this race, because apart from what happened on the start, we didn't really have the best of the races, did we? But hopefully the second part of it will be more interesting. Of course, with 10 drivers, it rarely gets interesting, but when they come together, oh boy, it gets interesting. And looks like Bika 4 tenths behind Richie B, who is 4 tenths behind Grzesiu, and Crucix says the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 31.0. Yes, that was it, and he is 5.7 seconds behind, ahead of Kamil Komoń. Bika, let's change the camera. Richie B is going through on Grzesiu, and Grzesiu, will he be a mobile chicane for Bika? They touch. Did Bika lose his front wing? No, he spun and he's out of the race. Oh my goodness. What happened there? I'm speechless right now. I'm really speechless. Bika, of course, is leaving the session. Maybe that will tempt the game to send the safety car out, but looks like it doesn't, which is a shame, because a safety car would have really changed the dynamic of this race. We are nearing the halfway point in this race, which is good, obviously, but I think it's one of those worst races this season. Although the fight between the Toro Rosso seemed to be nice, but looks like Bika was too eager to get past Grzesiu. He went into the back of the second Toro Rosso driver. I think that he may have had a front wing damage, but before I was able to check that, well, Bika was out of the race. Crucix sets another fastest lap of the race, and I'm sorry again, because I probably wanted to see JSR's profile. Yes, I wanted to do that. And I wanted to do that again, because this game is great. And we've had a... oh my goodness gracious me, I'm sorry for that as well. I think someone had a bad moment, because we've had a yellow flag. Of course, we have Bika out of this race. We have JSR out of this race as well, and we have Andinator out of this race, although his AR car is pretty much still with us. Nutzer seems to be with us, although we see that he is a ghost, but that's because his just behind Crucix, who is lapping him, or who has lapped him already. And yeah, looks like Kamil Komon doesn't have the pace to catch Crucix, which is great for the Williams driver. He will take away 7 or even 8 points after seeing the fastest lap. And Kamil Komon, does he go round? He had a moment there. I'm sure, yes, he has lost huge amount of time. He was sideways again going through the spoon curve, but he managed to save it. He's still in P2, but season is closer. Right now, of course, Crucix with a time of 1 minute 30.9 is the driver with the fastest lap of the race. That's 8 points more than Kamil Komon will get in this race. And that will mean that the gap between them will be exactly 27 points. And Andinator, right now, he won't get any point in this race. So Kamil Komon will get 18 points more than him, which means he will be 38 points ahead of him going into the Mexican Grand Prix in 1 week's time. Which also means that Kamil Komon will leave Mexico as the driver standings leader no matter what, because that's provided the race finishes in order that we have right now. But obviously, I'm sure that something will change. I'm sure that we still have some good racing to go, although right now it looks like, well, it got a little bit more boring. Crucix with a time penalty. I can check the time penalties because nothing's going on right now, and my game's crashed. Literally, my game's crashed. Oh, no. Thankfully. But yeah. That was a bad moment for this to happen. And Crucix, yeah, he has a time penalty, and Kamil Komon. Oh my goodness gracious me, I am disconnected. Sorry for that. It's a bit of an unexpected situation, to say the least. But hopefully nothing will crash. And I mean, the race wasn't the best, but we will be coming back to it. Just a second. Hopefully I have the second invite. If I don't have it, then well, and we have a big problem. But thankfully, JSR is... Okay, let's see. Do I have... Come on, go away. Yes, I have a second invite, which is great. And we will be coming back to the race very, very shortly. Mute all and spectate. Awesome. So, excuse me for those slight problems, for those small technical issues. Hopefully I haven't lost anything. And hopefully we will come to the race very, very shortly. Please wait, and let's see, we still have 9 drivers. I've lost the... That's not too good. I've lost the audio from the game, which is a bummer, certainly. But at least we have cars. Yeah, so we see what's going on the track, but we don't have any game audio. But hopefully that's the only issue. I don't know how to try and... Oh! And the audio's back, so it has fixed it itself. And when we come back to this race, we see Iceman just 8 tenths behind Grzesiu. In P6, Grzesiu hasn't been into the pit lane as Jezza hasn't been into the pit lane as well. And now let's see, Iceman 8 tenths behind Grzesiu. Will he try to overtake the Polish driver? Where is Richie B compared to Season? Season as well, some time behind Kamil Koman. Richie B gets a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I think that's for cutting the first part of the chicane, because that's quite a known bug in this game already. And now Grzesiu and Iceman, half a second between them. Can Iceman overtake the Toro Rosso into turn 1? No, he's way too far behind. We have a yellow flag in sector 1, and that was, I don't know whom. That might have been, yes, that's Nutzer Nutzt. Looks like he has another set of problems. Jezza came into the pit lane, and Iceman 4 tenths behind Grzesiu, even 3 tenths behind them. Now he can't overtake him because there is a yellow flag in the around them. But looks like Nutzer Nutzt has, yeah, he has no problems right now. Can Iceman overtake Grzesiu into the chicane? No way for him there. No way for him there, but he gets a better exit than the Toro Rosso. Certainly, he has way fresher tires here. Going through 200R into the spoon right now. And looks like Grzesiu is still comfortably ahead of the Alpha. They will have Nutzer Nutzt ahead of them, but Nutzer Nutzt is in the gravel. Krusik sets the fastest lap of the race. The yellow flag is due to the Ferrari being in the gravel. I'm sure about it. And now Iceman 2 tenths behind Grzesiu. Will he try to stick it down the inside into the chicane? No way for him there. But he will have the DRS. Grzesiu goes deep there. He has a worse exit than Iceman, of course. He doesn't go into the pit lane yet, but Iceman will have the DRS. Grzesiu goes defensive, very defensive right now, but he will be overtaken by Iceman into turn 1. Round the outside goes Iceman, beautifully done, and Grzesiu goes down to P6 really, and he will have to pit shortly, but he was some way ahead of Jezza. Jezza has soft tires though, which is good for him. He will fight for the fastest lap of the race. I think that's what Grzesiu will do as well. Once he pits. But yeah, that will be the only action we will have left in this race. Krusik 8 seconds ahead of Kamil Koman. It's a domination from the Williams driver really today. Kamil Koman, he was leading the race. He set the fastest time in qualifying, but after this half spin during the fight with Krusik, he has lost it. Season in P3, quite a quiet race for him, but P3, a podium is a podium, and Richie B sets another fastest lap of the race. Richie B in P4, great one, especially considering that he wasn't sure if he would make it on time today. Iceman in P5, after a bad start, not a bad recovery. Grzesiu, at least he will score some points today after not scoring points in a few races beforehand. But Grzesiu stays out on the track. Still stays out on the track. He will have Andinator, but Andinator is not in this race. Jezza is in this race. He is in P8. So he will take away some points at least. And Nutzer Nutzt, he will take away some points as well, because he is in P9. Which is okay, which is good. But not the best, to say the least. Yeah, we have 8 laps to the finish. 8 laps of not the best race of the season, let's put it that way. Nutzer Nutzt gets a time penalty, which is certainly a bummer for him, but nothing he could really do without it or with it, because he's still in P9. Nothing happening on the chat as well, which is, I don't know if nice or not, but certainly I don't have any talking points from there to choose from. But it happens. Krusik, another fastest lap of the race. I think he is just going better and better with each lap. which just shows how dominant he is today. Let's wait for Jez's time. Well, what are his times? 1 minute 31.210. It's not the best. It's not the best lap time. It's really from those worst lap times, if you ask me. So I was expecting something more from him on those soft tires, but it happens. It just happens. Well, I don't know what to talk about right now, because we still have 6.5 laps to go. Crew 6 has a over 9 second lead over Kamil Koman. I think he is still going even quicker on this lap than he was on the last one, because his pace is so awesome today that he just gets better and better with each lap. Well, he's now slower by 0.2 of a second than he was, but that still isn't too bad. Looks like Kamil Koman is trying to reach a better lap time, because he has improved by 0.2 of a second on his best best 2 sectors lap time there. But it still won't be the fastest lap of the race, will it? 1 minute 30.8 though. That's close, but still 1/10 of the pace set by Crew 6 in this race for the fastest lap. Will Grzesiu finally pit? This is the big question going through the chicane. Look how deep he's going there. It just looks like the tires don't have enough grip. And yes, he is finally coming to the pit lane. Oh, a big lockup going into the pit lane. You could have seen how ruined was this front right tire. But thankfully, or maybe finally, he is in the pits. He will obviously take the soft tires, and he will rejoin the track in P6. So the same place he pitted from, he will emerge in the same spot. In this race, well, Jeza is in P8. Now I'm curious if Grzesiu can take the fastest lap of the race, or will he have to let Crew 6 take that point away from this race. Lap number 22 is coming to an end very, very shortly. We just have Crew 6. Crew 6 needs to finish this one, and we will start lap number 23. So we will have only 5 laps to go in this race. And yeah, let's see, what is the pace set by Grzesiu. Of course, the first sector, very bad, because it's his outlap, so we have to wait for him to cross the line at least there. Crew 6, he is just cruising to the finish line, I think, right now. Iceman, 5 seconds time penalty for exceeding track limits. I'm 100% sure that's because of cutting the first part of the chicane there, which happened to a few drivers already. And I'm sure they will try to get that penalties away from them, to take those away, to appeal those penalties. Well, stewards' inquiries are open. They can legally open an inquiry about those time penalties, and I think they will be taken away, because that's the usual policy in this corner. But of course, every situation is a separate situation. Sometimes you just cut the corner too much, and the game is in right to give you a time penalty. Now Crew 6 finishes the lap number 23. He will start lap number 24. He will only have 4 laps till the end of the race. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit tired by this race, because not too much has happened. Although Kamil Koman takes the fastest lap of this race, Jeza gets a time penalty, and interestingly, Kamil Koman is only 11 thousandths of a second faster than Crew 6. That's nothing, that's almost nothing, so I think Crew 6 will try to retake this fastest lap of the race, and Grzesiu is in this fight as well. He has improved by 9/10 of a second. 9/10, where will it put him, well, 2 seconds of improvement. Well, he will take that time. He will take that fastest lap of the race away. Although, let's just wait. Yeah, he will smash the fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 28.29. 1 minute 30.389. Well, I thought it was going to be faster, but that's 4/10 faster than the fastest lap of the race before, which is, I think, enough for him to secure that 1 additional point for Grzesiu. But we still have to wait for the confirmation. Krusix going through the 130R. Andenator has joined the session, interestingly, but he has lost too much time in this race. Can he retake this car? I don't know. But Krusix, 1 minute 30.9. Will he try to improve his time? I don't think he has more time in it. And Jeza has taken another set of soft tires, so he will try to join the party as well. There is a point on table, and he is happy to take it, or at least to fight for it, because he will finish in P7, because we are counting out Andenator either way, and he hasn't taken back the car. Which is a bummer for him. But yeah, Jeza will try to join the party, will try to improve his lap time. Grzesiu, of course, is not improving right now. And Krusix, he has improved by 43 thousandths of a second in Sector 1, so he is trying to improve, but I'm not sure, I'm not convinced if he can make it. I'm not convinced. Maybe he can, but he will have to prove me wrong. Going through a spoon for the 25th time. He still has to do it 2 times more. We're just counting down the laps to the end of this race, really, because, as I've said a number of times today, it's not the best race of the season. I think Sochi was a lot more entertaining, but that's how the race goes. One race is awesome and the second one really isn't. Krusix has not improved, and Kamil Komon gets a 5-second time penalty for cutting the chicane, which means that he will go back to P3, I think, right now. Unless Season has a time penalty. I don't want to check the penalties, because last time I wanted to do so, well, we've lost the stream. Well, not the stream, but we've lost the session for 2 minutes, so I don't want to repeat that mistake. Jeza, he has started his lap, and let's see how will he improve. 5/10 in Sector 1. Is that enough? Oh, and a big slide by Jeza going through Degna. Oh, what was that? That was like typical Japanese drift, which is great for him, but of course it earned him another time penalty. And Grzesiu comes into the pit lane. Will he try to take another set of soft tires and secure this final lap with an even quicker lap time? Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a fight on the track, but at least we have a fight for this final point in this race. Has Andenator taken this car? No, he hasn't. But Krusix, going through 130R into the chicane, will start the final lap very, very shortly. But that means that... No, I think Grzesiu has 2 laps to go either way. Okay. And Krusix, he has started the final lap of this Japanese Grand Prix. He will take this dominant win to earn 25 points and gain at least 7 points over Kamil Komon, which will mean that he will be 28 points behind the Polish driver going into the Mexican Grand Prix. But it's not the time to do maths just yet. We still have to wait. Jeza, he hasn't improved enough. Yes, he hasn't improved enough, and he has time. His best time is, well, a time of 1 minute 31.2. Kamil Komon gets another time penalty. Oh my goodness. He can lose this. He can lose the podium. No, he can't lose the podium today. He can lose the second place though, and that's a big a big thing for him. Look at the gaps between the drivers. Krusix is 10 seconds ahead of Kamil Komon, who is only 5 seconds ahead of, 4.5 seconds ahead of Season, but Season is 10 seconds ahead of Richie B, who is 10 seconds ahead of Iceman, who is 30 seconds ahead of Andinator, who is 12 seconds ahead of Grzesiu, who is 20 seconds ahead of Jezza, who is 35 seconds ahead of Nuternus. Of course, we have to forget about Andinator because he is not in this race, but still the gaps are horribly big. And now Krusix takes the fastest lap and takes the win in Suzuka. So Krusix set the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. Kamil Komon, can he improve? Not enough, and of course he has taken this 5-second time penalty. That means Season, no, he won't finish in P3 because he also had the same amount penalties as Kamil Komon. Richie B in P4, he will take this place with pleasure. Iceman in P5. I'm waiting for Grzesiu because he has improved by 1/10 in first sector. But now, Iceman in P5. Of course, the penalties aren't changing the order today, looks like that. Nuts, he is close to finishing, and he will finish in P9, so we still have Andinator now. Of course, Andinator is an AI car, and Grzesiu will probably take the fastest lap of the race. We have to check. Are 3/10 enough for him? Yes, they are enough. Nuts has left the session, and Grzesiu, can he take the fastest lap of the race? This is very crucial for the standings. Looks like he has. Yes, 1 minute 30.116. At least that's what the steering wheel, what the dashboard on his steering wheel said. Here we go then. Krusix, the winner of the Japanese Grand Prix. He takes away at least 7 points from Kamil Komon going into the Mexican Grand Prix. Let's see, of course, this cutscene, and let's go back to the standings to confirm who had this fastest lap, because I'm not sure. Was it Grzesiu? Was it Krusix? Still not sure. And ladies and gentlemen, just wait a minute until we skip it. And the fastest lap of the race belongs to Grzesiu. 1 minute 30.127 was his final time. And well, Krusix takes the win. Kamil Komon is second, Season third, Richie B fourth, Iceman fifth, Andinator sixth, Grzesiu 7th, 8th place for Jezza, 9th for Nuts. Of course, remember that Andinator wasn't with us, so Grzesiu takes 6th, Jezza 7th, and Nuts 8th. Bika, JSR, and Andinator don't finish this race. That means, and of course, Grzesiu takes the fastest lap of the race. That means that Kamil Komon has gained 18 points on Andinator. The gap between them now is 38 points, and Kamil Komon has lost 7 points to Krusix. So that means the gap between them is right now only 28 points. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be it from the Japanese Grand Prix. We can agree that it wasn't the best race of the season, but at least the strategy was interesting here, and the fight for the fastest lap of the race, which obviously is nice. And we will come back next week, because next week we have the Mexican Grand Prix. 4 races are left in this season, and if my maths is right, Kamil Komon is 28 points ahead of Krusix. Of course, something may change due to penalties applied after the race by the stewards panel, but I will update you during the next race. Thank you for all the sponsors, for Hype Energy, for Elgato Gaming, because without them we couldn't have done this race, which would have been sad, because we want to race and we want to stream that to you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Japanese Grand Prix. Hope you liked it. Hope you will come back next week for the Mexican Grand Prix. I will be alone again then, unless something changes. We will let you know. Follow the AOR social networks, follow the AOR YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter, the link is down in the description, and that is it. Andonator says they drove the last lap, but yeah, Andonator, that doesn't change anything, does it? I think it doesn't change anything because he was out for most of the race. So yeah. Anyways, thank you right now. That was the Japanese Grand Prix. Hope to see you next week during the Mexican Grand Prix. I'm Julio Massa, and I commentated for you the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F3 race number 17 in Japan. Thank you very much, and good